All right, Republican Glenn Youngkin may have been declared the winner in the Virginia governor's race, but taking the center stage has been concerned parents in the state of Virginia who made the difference on Election Day. The issue was the issue of education. Now, this was not missed on MSNBC last night in their election coverage. Here's Nicole Wallace discussing Glenn Youngkin's focus on education.
Second big lie is that I watched his rally last Saturday. His campaign promise, and he was making this promise in Loudoun and in Alexandria, is on day one, I'm going to ban critical race theory. That is like us banning the ghosts.
Right.
There are no ghosts.
That's right.
So we can say, you know what, 7 p.m. we're banning the ghosts. There are no ghosts. There isn't critical race theory talk. But what he's done is he's laundered Trump's really sort of disgusting, flagrant out racism. He's wrapped it in education, and he's given it a lie as a label. And they said he's going to ban it. There isn't any critical race theory. It's a legal theory not taught in public schools.
Well, they need to tell that to the Virginia Department of Education because it's actually posted on their website. Joining me now to discuss the role of parental rights in education in the Virginia election and the effort he's a part of to protect those rights is U.S. Senator John Boozman of Arkansas, who is himself a father of 3 and a grandfather of 4, as well as a former school board member. Senator, welcome back to the program.
I am. Thank you, Tony, for having me. And again, let me just give you a big shout out and all the people that are praying for you and your ministry, the tremendous job that you're doing because of people like you that do such a good job. We're the tip of the spear here, but letting people know exactly what's going on. And that's really what it's all about, is giving great information. I think that's the difference in races like Virginia and New Jersey.
I appreciate that, Senator. Thank you. And let me start right there. Let me get your thoughts on the victories that we saw in Virginia last night for conservative candidates.
Well, it's overwhelming, and they can blow it off on different reasons. But the reality is that the policies that are being pushed out of Washington, the policies that are being pushed out of the state houses in New Jersey, Virginia, all over the country, are out of touch with reality. And so the good news is people are standing up and saying, no, we're simply not going to take this anymore. I was a school board member for 7 years, and I got on the school board. We had great schools. I just wanted to be a part of, making sure that we continued down that path. But I can tell you the idea that when people are upset, and they do get upset about their children, rightfully so, sometimes wrongfully so, but they ought to have the opportunity to speak, what's on their mind and not be labeled as terrorists, as our Attorney General indicated.
Now, Senator, you've been at this for a while. I have as well. Sometimes there is misinterpretation of election results. I personally, my view is that this is the American people, or at least the voters that had the opportunity to go to the polls. They basically gave thumbs down to the Biden administration and the Democratic policies. I do not necessarily think that this was a wholehearted embracement of the Republican Party. Although that said, I do think Glenn Youngkin was very much in tune with what the voters were thinking and doing in Virginia, so I certainly give him credit for that. But what needs to happen here to build on this momentum from yesterday?
Well, you're right. It was a rejection of the Democrats and all of some of the crazy things that they're trying to do. The inflation aspect now, the spending, the $1.9 trillion bill that's already been passed, the idea of spending another $1.75 to $4 trillion, whatever it is, nobody knows because it's coming out of the White House almost exclusively. But people aren't stupid. They realize that gas is up $1.25 per gallon nationally. They understand that everybody's talking about their heating bills going up about 35% this winter. What does that do to people on fixed incomes? What does it do to single moms that are working so very hard? So these are the areas that they understand. They're pushing back, and they went and voted, and it's made a tremendous difference. I hope that the Democrats will understand, that this is a repudiation of their policies and that we can actually get some good things done for the country. The two things I hear about as I'm out and about are labor. Nobody can get anybody to work. And then the other thing is the supply chain.
Yeah.
These are the kind of things that we need to be focused on, doing something about, rather than trying to enact cradle-to-grave spending measures.
I think you're absolutely right. That in these mandates, I think people, they don't mind getting suggestions. They wouldn't mind. We were just talking with your colleague Rand Paul about the vaccine mandate. I think if you put all the science on the table, people could make informed decisions, and they'd be fine with that. In fact, I think there would be more people vaccinated if we weren't mandating it. Now, you've joined some of your colleagues in the Senate to introduce a resolution supporting parents' rights to be fully and actively involved in the education of their children. What do you say to those like Terry McAuliffe that say schools should be left to the professionals and parents should stay home?
Well, I would say to Terry McAuliffe and others in that group that's why you got beat. A significant number of people came out and voted against him, and I think voted against the governor in New Jersey also, based on policies like that. That's the beauty. I figured out very quickly that on the school board, I didn't have an individual vote in Arkansas on the school board. But if I could get 3 others, we had 7 there. So if you had a majority of 4, you really had absolute control of the school system. The school boards are still very, very important there. And so school boards, our administrators simply have to pay attention. And when you get to the point that you feel like you know everything and talk down to the people that you're there to serve, these are service jobs.
Right.
And when you do that, then I think the results you see is what we saw in Virginia.
Well, that's when voters take them to school and teach them a few things of who's actually in control. Senator Boozman, always great to talk with you. Thanks so much for joining us today. Look forward to visiting with you again real soon.
Well, thank you, and thanks for the great work.